Now, the live events industry is desperate to have the sector reopened. Last month, members of the Flight Case Movement South Africa marched to the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, demanding that this industry be allowed to operate. The department is expected to respond to their demand. We know that at least 700 independent freelancers have been impacted by the restrictions. Hundreds of technical rental companies face closure, leaving hundreds of South Africans without jobs in that line. To give us an update on how the industry is coping, we're joined now by the founder of Flight Case Movement, Kagiso Masimini. KG, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. We know that you've met with the Minister of Arts and Culture, Natim Tetwa's Director General and DDG. You had a meeting, you aired and tabled your grievances. What was the outcome of that meeting?
Look, we really had a positive engagement with the department. However, we are disappointed with the lack of communication between the department and us. And I see only on Friday, they responded with regards to the Solidarity Fund, which they advised that if we submit information of all our freelancers, they would be able to assist with 700 rands for every freelancers. And to date, we are hoping to see if that would be a reality. However, there were other matters and demands that we tabled with the department, and still a back and forth with the department, because as you would understand, we are now facing a second wave, which again puts us at a level 5. We are still at level 5, and the industry as a whole is still in level 5. Very few companies, less than 4 companies, are actually operating, with many technical crew members and freelancers still unemployed, sitting at home doing nothing. That's where we are. And we hope that, the department can really come through and table a plan that would assist, whether in a form of a relief or a form that would maybe advise the banks to assist in a relief fund for our technical companies.
You are in interaction with hundreds of artists and technicians within the industry, speaking to their day-to-day challenges when it comes to not being able to work, not being able to conduct business. Give us a sense of the real impact here. I understand that depression has become a huge factor amongst some of your colleagues.
Yes, in actual fact, we have just buried 2 of our technical members who have committed suicide because of depression and the lack of ability to make any income for themselves and their families. They find themselves homeless, destitute, because there is no. And you see, for another thing, we are not asking for handouts. We've tabled a plan together with the Events Safety Council that would really assist us in going back to work. The government at this moment have lifted the ban on 250 indoors and 500 outdoors. And with that, really, from a financial perspective, it is not helping. So we have established, actually, the feeder crew was established in April to assist freelancers and technical members who find themselves in that position. And we are happy today to announce that the Nelson Mandela Foundation, through the leadership of Ntate Selohatan and Mr. Yase Godro, have come on board to really assist with food parcels so that we can distribute to our members.
You speak about a plan that you've drafted. At the same time, we know that health experts are already warning of a COVID-19 resurgence. What sort of plans are within your plan to ensure that COVID-19 regulations are indeed, committed to in terms of adhering to all the rules and regulations?
So through Event Council, we've tabled a 60-page document. First of all, that talks about the screening of patrons that could go into any event space. And secondly, the wearing of masks and the keeping of the 1.5 meter distance. As you would know, there was a talk of a nightclub in Cape Town where over about 80 people who were infected with the virus. But now the question is, or from the live events and technical production, we've put together a watertight regulatory outcome for people, or to mitigate any spread of the virus when patrons come to the events.
Now, okay, carry on.
Yeah. So I find that the 250 and 50 it isn't working, and no company, but like I've mentioned, about 4 companies are working, but they're working with skeleton stuff. So the amount of revenue that we are losing as an industry as a whole, about 550 companies that we are talking about today, most of them, are foreclosure. Most of them are finding themselves having to sell their equipment to try and recuperate some kind of money for their investments.
As we're speaking, KG, we know that health experts are calling on police, law enforcement officials to intervene here because of many people now relaxing around COVID-19. We know that police have been saying that what they're finding is that people do wear masks when they go to the clubs, but take them off when they're inside. Within your plans, as you make this call to government officials to open up the events industry, how are you then going to ensure that there is a reduction in the spread of COVID-19?
So, Mpo, in the live events and technical production, we have something called Joint Operations Committee. That comprises of security, which is police, traffic officers, medics, to make sure, and even in the venue, we do have safety officers who make sure that all the rules and regulations set out for that particular event. And as you would know, again, that there are different risks for every event. So depending on how many people will attend that particular event, Joint Operations Committee is there. Venue Operations Committee is also there to make sure that all the compliance are adhered to. More so, our industry now should be considered as high risk, and we have safety officers in place to make sure that people adhere to the rules and regulations of the country to try and mitigate the spread of COVID-19.
And before we let you go, we know that the department is expected to respond to your demands in the next week or so. Have you had any communication between, since the last time you spoke to them up until now, just to indicate that they are closer to meeting with you and committing to a number of your grievances?
Unfortunately, no. It's now, a couple of weeks and we still don't have any response. And unfortunately, we are losing hope that the department would actually has a plan to rescue our industry, whether in a form of relief fund. And as you would know, the 665 million that the Treasury has allocated to the department to try and assist. But again, we are worried and wondering if that money would really go to the right beneficiaries.
Very well. Let's leave it there for now. All the best to you. Flight Case Movement's founder, Kagiso Moema Wamasimini, speaking to us about some of the challenges that artists are facing and those technicians and those within the live events space.